I guess the only analogy, because, as you know, we here in this country, we do not compute, okay? We do not compute that fans say no and billionaire class ownership says, okay. And I guess the only equivalent was, and just to use, I guess, the Stan Kroenke equivalent, is that Rams moved from St. Louis to Los Angeles. Fans in St. Louis say no, but the fans in Los Angeles say welcome, and we all move on. It just seems that basically the fan base was being left behind, and there was no relocation, physical relocation, just relocation in terms of the construct, the pyramid, as they use the phrase in football in Europe. And that's where the conundrum was, maybe, for these American owners, that you still need the fans. You still need that. And how, I guess was that the reckoning? Is that an appropriate way to put it here, or what?
Rich. I mean, I do find, I love American sports. The greatest day of my life, becoming an American. I adore it. It was Chicago Bears winning the Super Bowl, that Super Bowl winning team that changed the course of my life, made me dream of moving to the city that William Refrigerator Perry and Walter Payton were storming around. I love, the White Sox. I love American sports as much as anybody, but I've never quite understood the compliance of American fans of, I'll just lift my team up, I'll fling it around. And just St. Louis, you just suffer in silence because we don't want to hear your moaning. We're the Los Angeles Rams now. I've never understood how that occurs. And I'd say, though, one of the shocking things, and ultimately the fatal mistake, as these owners announced that they were doing this, JP Morgan were backing this, a fortune was to be made, they instantly lost every stakeholder in the game, not just the fans, who I'll get to in a minute, the media, obviously, but club legends, managers, their own players spoke out. That's it. It would be like the Rams leaving and the players saying, hold on a minute, we don't do this. Former players, broadcasters, the government, even the royal bloody family, Rich, spoke out about this. And the fatal mistake, and I'm fascinated by this is the story still to be told, having spoken to a couple of owners in Europe. They planned this. They thought about this. They had a phalanx of lobbyists in government poised, PR specialists. They had whole Ukrainian bot farms to barrage across social media. Why the Super League was such a wonderful idea. It's quite funny to look at those tweets on Twitter, on social media now. But of all the complex scenarios that they planned for, the possibility of their own fans, it was that their own fans turned against them, clearly never crossed their mind. They thought the only challenges would come from supporters of other clubs, the lesser clubs, the unsuper clubs who've been left behind. So Liverpool, there's another team in Liverpool, Everton, they're the Mets of Liverpool. I happen to support them my whole life. They thought the Everton fans would be up in arms and they'd be able to laugh at them and say that was just envy. What they didn't bank on was Liverpool fans rising up and saying no, that the club, that's not what they stood for. They wouldn't be leaving the history behind, the memory, the traditions. And it was really a historic misread, Rich, perhaps the biggest in global football club history. The English football fans, they didn't know their own fans are tribal, passionate, devoted, and how deeply the clubs are built into the fabric of the cities. They're not afterthoughts. Their fans are not customers. The games are not just content. And the American owners have tried to treat English fans as if they're just extras in the background of their movie, and they weren't having it.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.